Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanishalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet. In this session, we will be discussing from the 32nd verse of the 19th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just to refresh your memory, this chapter is entitled The Appearance of Shukadev Goswami. In this chapter, it will be described how Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj met at a time when Parikshit was actually preparing to quit his body after having renounced his kingdom. He was in a holy place on the bank of the river Ganga, and he was surrounded by so many saintly persons from all over the universe. And exactly when Parikshit was inquiring from the sages assembled there that kindly tell me what is my duty. Exactly at that time, Shukadev Goswami walks into that assembly, and the description has already been given in the previous few verses. The appearance of Shukadev Goswami was certainly a very, very divine event, that he was sent by Krishna, and he was sent to speak Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj for the first time after it was compiled by Vyasadeva under instruction of Sri Narada. So this 32nd verse, now Parikshit is addressing Shukadev Goswami. After Shukadev Goswami has been welcomed, he has taken the seat of honor, and when everyone has settled down, acknowledging Shukadev Goswami's most exalted position, is the topmost among the transcendentalists of his time. Even though he is just 16 years old and he doesn't formally belong to any category of transcendentalists as Brahmarshi or Rajarshi or Devarshi or Arunodaya, he is not formally initiated. He has not undergone any reformatory process, samskara. Yam pravrajantam anupetam apeta krityam. In the beginning of the Bhagavatam, in the first canto, in the same canto, second chapter, Suta Goswami offers respects to his spiritual master Shukadev Goswami, and he says, my spiritual master, he was a liberated soul by birth. He did not undergo any reformation after his birth because he was already liberated. So that Shukadev Goswami was recognized by the great transcendentalists, rishis who had arrived from higher planets. They knew the art of physiognomy. That means by looking at the external features, bodily features, face symptoms, the build-up, they could say, here is some very, very, very advanced transcendentalist. So they all stood up in respect, except Vyasadeva and Narad Muni. Vyasadeva was the father of Shukadev Goswami, his natural spiritual master, and Narada was the spiritual master of the spiritual master of Shukadeva Goswami, the spiritual master of Vyasadeva. So they did not stand up, and few others, Parashurama, the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they did not stand up, but everybody else stood up in respect. And Parikshit Maharaj was very glad to receive him. Now what is Parikshit telling Shukadeva Goswami? That's this verse, 32nd verse. Parikshit uvacha aho adya vayam brahman satsevya kshatra bandhavaha kripaya atithi rupena bhavadbhis tirthaka kritaha. The meaning of this verse is, the fortunate King Parikshit said, O Brahmana, by your mercy only you have sanctified us, making us like unto places of pilgrimage, all by your presence here as my guest. By your mercy, we who are but unworthy royalty become eligible to serve the devotee. Parikshit is taking a very humble position, and he is glorifying Shukadeva Goswami, because Shukadeva Goswami is the most exalted transcendentalist of his time. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains why is Parikshit saying this. Srila Prabhupada says, saintly devotees like Shukadeva Goswami generally do not approach worldly enjoyers, especially those in royal orders. Those who are strict transcendentalists, they keep away from materialistic persons who are simply in a mood of materially enjoying. Such people are determined to enjoy in this world, and they never take any interest. Generally, they don't take any interest in spiritual life or spiritual subject matter. So, saintly devotees like Shukadeva Goswami are completely immersed in Krishna consciousness. They generally don't bother such worldly enjoyers. So, it is especially important that Parikshit Maharaj, who was the emperor of the world, what hope did he have that he would be able to meet the greatest transcendentalist, recognized greatest transcendentalist, Shukadeva Goswami? There was no hope. Neither Shukadeva Goswami was having any ashram, any residential place, any particular assembly where somebody could approach. Like saintly persons who are away from the cities and towns, they stay in hermitages, in holy places. They make the place holy. Now, Shukadeva Goswami did not have any particular place of residence. He would just wander. He would just be wandering. And externally, not everyone can make out, most people cannot make out that he is the greatest transcendentalist, because he is not dressed, he is wandering naked, he is appearing like a madman, he is not formally dressed, neither he takes cognizance of anybody who approaches him or talks to him. He does not, he is not conscious of the people or the society. He doesn't follow any social customs. So how could anybody have approached even Shukadeva Goswami? It was just not possible ordinarily. So it is also true that great saintly persons who are completely aloof from worldly enjoyers, they do not bother to meet or contact or approach any of the materialistic persons or people in royal position, big kings, big wealthy merchants, people in big positions in material estimation. They never approach. So Srila Prabhupada next gives an example. Maharaj Pratap Rudra was a follower of Lord Chaitanya. He was the king of Orissa. But when Maharaj Pratap Rudra wanted to see the Lord, see Lord Chaitanya refused to see him because he was a king. So Pratap Rudra, even though he was a king, he was a saintly king. So he was seeking an interview with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just to get blessings, just to get some instructions, personal instructions, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying in Puri. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not give any appointment, would not agree to meet Pratap Rudra Maharaj. Why? Why would Chaitanya refuse? Prabhupada says, for a devotee who desires to go back to Godhead, two things are strictly prohibited: worldly enjoyers and women. Now, this is based on a verse that is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. That verse says, Nishkinchanasya Bhagavad Bhajanonmukhasya Param Param Jigamishor Bhavasagarasya Sandarshanam Vishayinam Atha Yoshitam Cha Ha Hanta Hanta Vishabhakshanatopya Sadhu. The meaning of this verse is, alas for a person who is seriously desiring to cross the material ocean and engage in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord Krishna without material motives, seeing a materialist engaged in sense gratification, or seeing a woman who is similarly interested, is more abominable than drinking poison willingly. So, as Prabhupada says in this purport, two things are strictly forbidden for a serious transcendentalist who is practicing spiritual life in order to get out of material existence entirely and go back to Godhead. So, this verse says, this is a verse quoted by, spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was requested by one of his associates, Sarvam Bhattacharya, that please give an appointment for Maharaj Pratap Rudra who wants to come and see you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, I cannot give an appointment. Why? This is the reason he is quoting. Nishkinchanasya, for one who is completely detached himself from material enjoyment, Bhagavad Bhajanonmukhasya, and is engaged, eager to be engaged in serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, and also Param Param Jigamishor Bhavasagarasya, he wants to cross over the ocean of material existence and go back to Godhead. For such a person, Sandarshanam, just seeing, not even mixing or interacting very closely, no, just seeing, Sandarshanam, two categories of people. Vishayinam, Yoshitam. Vishayinam means those who are engaged in materialistic activities, Vishayinam, sense enjoyers in this world. And Yoshitam means women. Women here refers to a member of the opposite gender who is very much interested in enjoying. For a woman, it is man, Yoshit is man. For a man, a Yoshit is woman who is interested in enjoying. such a darshan, just a sandarshanam, just seeing, is very, very dangerous. How dangerous? More dangerous than drinking poison willingly, than knowingly drinking poison. That means it is very, very dangerous. It is a big, big, big obstacle for spiritual advancement. So therefore, such a transcendentalist will never agree to see or meet or interact or mix with such worldly minded people. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj, thinking, I am a king, and Shukadeva Goswami has arrived and he has accepted my respects, and he has agreed to sit in this assembly and instruct me. So I am very, 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 very fortunate and blessed by Shukadeva Goswami. So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.